Hi, we're back again to continue our discussion of Clockaudio microphones and logic control and Clockaudio control devices. We're down underneath the conference room table looking at the devices that we looked at earlier, and we're going to talk about testing the logic control. And I want to point out, even though I'm doing the testing at the back of the logic box, it's very easy to extend that out to the end of the cabling. So we can verify that everything is working properly from the DSP back in the rack, clear out to the final termination for the control device. In this case, it's a TS001. And for our example here, and to make this a little easier to operate, I've added a second TS001 and disconnected the one that's mounted in the table. So this way you can see the one easily. I don't have to reach above the table or have somebody manipulate it for me. So it's handy to have an extra one of these at the job site. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a regular voltometer. I've set this voltometer on the 20 volt DC scale. Of course, it's reading 0 because we're not connected to anything. And I locate the two wires coming out of the cable feeding my TS001 switch, which I'm using for muting. And it's very understanding that the green wire controls the green LEDs and the red wire controls the red LED ring. So I can come in here and place my probe on the ground, which happens to be on the logic box, the last terminal on here designated with a ground indicator. And then I'll place the other probe on one of the colors. And we can see there we have a small amount of voltage. And then as I switch the button, we can see the voltage go up to 6 volts. And I switch the button again, and it goes back to almost 0. And likewise, I move to the other color in here, which is the green wire. And once again, I switch the LED switch, and it drops to almost 0, and then goes back up. So we've got a good indication there that at least the logic box is working correctly and our programming is working correctly. I can here again extend this out to the end of the cable by using a small adapter that I've made. This is connecting to pins 2 through 6 on a regular RJ45 and uses the same color code as the Clockaudio cabling. And then a final way to test this that's also pretty handy is a logic probe. And one of the nice things about a logic probe is it gives you an audible indication. So you don't have to have a screen on a voltometer in front of you. And I have hooked this to the 12 volt power supply under the table, which is there to operate the microphone motor and the TS001. And I simply place it on one side of the red or green. And as I manipulate the switch, we can see it change state, and I get a visual indication that it's changing state. Likewise, I move to the green cable, and I get the same visual indication.